Hello, it's Alex, the Bookubus. I'm back with a book haul, and this ended up being quite a large one. I didn't necessarily plan on buying this many books since the last book haul video I shared, but you know how it is when these opportunities present themselves. You either have to take them or you leave them behind, and yeah, I took all of the opportunities recently, apparently, book-wise at least. And yeah, I have 42 books if I counted correctly. And it is mostly horror in its various forms, but with probably a couple of other things thrown in there as well. And yeah, I thought I'd do the video with me behind the camera like I did the last book haul video, because I just really liked how that turned out, and it gives you a better view of the books, I think. So I really like that. So I hope you do too. Anyway, the books I have accumulated since the last book haul have been from various sources. Most of them are secondhand, and I went to 2 library book sales, which was really cool, and found some goodies there. I went to 1 secondhand bookshop and got some things. I even treated myself to a few new books. Yeah, like actually new books. And then I was also very happy to receive a few books as gifts recently. So yeah, enough rambling, let's get on to the books, and I will move these out of the way for now and come back to them shortly. So first up are 2 books that were very kindly sent to me by Steve over at Steve Talks Books and Stuff. He was super kind and generous, and he sent me his copy of Things Have Gotten Worse Since We Last Spoke by Eric LaRocca, because he had seen that I was interested in reading it. And yeah, I have already read this one and really enjoyed it. It is just a short novella, but yeah, I mean, when you're gonna put sadomasochism, obsession and death in your blurb, then you've got my interest. So yeah, I really liked this one. And Steve also sent me a paperback copy of Shelter for the Damned by Mike Thorne, because he had a duplicate copy, and I had already read this one because the author had sent me a version on ebook, and I really enjoyed it. So yeah, I'm very happy to have a paperback copy of this. So yes, thank you ever so much to Steve for sending these my way. Really, really nice of you, and I will leave a link to his channel in case you aren't already subscribed, so definitely go check his channel out. Okay, and next up is The Doll by Rex Sparger. This is part of the Dark Forces series, and this was very kindly sent to me by Jeremiah over at Jeremiah's Books and Authors. Again, I will leave a link to his channel, so definitely go check that out if you're not already subscribed. And he had come across this one and got in touch with me because he knew I was after the Dark Forces books, and yeah, I was so stoked to receive this and add it to my collection. I only have 2 of the Dark Forces books so far, but I'm very excited to have this one. This is such an amazing cover. It's super, super creepy. I love it. And yeah, I definitely want to read this one soon. I'm thinking I might add it to my October reading pile, and yeah, get some spooky YA goodness. Okay, moving on to some gifts that I received. So back in July, my husband and I celebrated our 10th wedding anniversary, which is pretty crazy, but very cool. And we got each other a couple of gifts, and one of the ones he got me was a copy of The Haunting by Ruby Jean Jensen. He knows I love RJJ, and this is one that I didn't already have in my collection, so I'm very happy to have a copy. And yeah, I've enjoyed everything I've read by her so far, so I am looking forward to reading this one, and I am sure it's going to be a good time. And yeah, so that's that. And then one of the gifts that I got for my husband is this, The Satire's Head and Other Tales of Terror, edited by David A. Sutton. This was on his wish list, so I tracked down a copy and got it for him. This is such an amazing cover. I love the artwork. It's super creepy and weird. And this is a fairly slim volume, but oh, I still need to get that sticker off the back. They're the worst. But yeah, this looks super cool. And let's have a look at the table of contents here. So yeah, this is an anthology, and I know my husband is going to pick that up and give it a read before too long, and I might sneakily give it a read as well. So yeah, so that's very cool. Okay, and a fun fact about my husband and I is that we met on the internet through our mutual love of the work of Chuck Palahniuk, who is probably most famous for writing Fight Club, and we were both fans of his work and members of the Cult, which is the name of his online fan forum, which I don't think exists anymore. But anyway, long story short, Chuck Palahniuk himself sent some books over for our anniversary, which is amazing. One of them is this absolutely gorgeous hardback edition of Fight Club. Hopefully that will focus, or not, you know, up to you, camera. But yeah, Fight Club, Chuck Palahniuk signed edition. That is the back, and we have the gold edges there, and this gorgeous end papers. And then let's see, it says, "To Alex, may you celebrate romance every day of the year." So that is super cool. It's such a gorgeous edition. And not only that, but he also sent a hardback copy of Fight Club 3. And I have a copy of Fight Club 2, but have not actually read it yet. But now that I have 3, and the fact that Chuck himself sent it my way, I feel like I should probably give that a go. So this one says, "To Alex, may you never think of popcorn in the same way." So yeah, I was absolutely like shocked and flabbergasted and super happy to open up a box and see that they were inside. It was, yeah, such an awesome surprise. And yeah, not that he's watching, but thank you, Chuck. You are literally the best. Okay, next up are the books I found at a library book sale, and in no particular order. We have book 1 of the Final Friends series, The Party, by Christopher Pike. This is in such great condition, doesn't even look like it's been read, and I had read this trilogy back in the day. I had the UK edition with a totally different cover, and it was all 3 books in one with red sprayed edges as well. It was very cool. And then yeah, at some point, like an idiot, I got rid of it. So, but anyway, I do remember reading that and really enjoying it. So it's one that I want to reread at some point. And yeah, I was very happy to find book 1. So that is that. I found a copy of The Night Boat by Robert R. McCammon with this absolutely amazing cover. It's just, yeah, the colours and the art style are just wonderful, and the title is even in like the metal of a ship style. Like, that's just the coolest thing. Super cool. Yeah. And it's about zombies or vampires on a boat. I can't remember exactly, but it sounds great. And this has the red edges. So yeah, I was very happy to find this, and for like, I don't know, $1.50. I don't remember now, but it was cheap and it's in really great shape. So yay for that. I got a copy of The Funhouse by Dean Koontz, which is one of his I have not read, and I know there's a film adaptation of it, which I've been meaning to see for years and just never have, for whatever reason, so I will get to it one day. But here is the inner artwork, which is pretty cool, and there he is on the back, grinning away like a maniac. It wasn't $3.99, I can tell you that. Anyway, I was happy to find that. I was also happy to find a copy of Stranger in the Mirror, which is part of the Phantom Valley series by Lynn Beach. This is a middle grade series, I guess from, you know, the same kind of era as Goosebumps, and this one is also in super great shape, so I was very happy to find it. And yeah, this one just sounds really fun, and I'm adding this to my October reading list as well. I got Binti by Nnedi Okorafor, which is a science fiction fantasy story, and it's just a very slim one. And yeah, the genre isn't really my usual go-to, but I've heard really good things about this one, and so yeah, the fact that I saw a really great condition copy for super cheap, I figured I would snap it up. And I also got a copy of Never Let Me Go by Kazuo Ishiguro. This is another one that I've heard really great things about. I think it's a science fiction, dystopian story, and yeah, it's one that I've actually been curious about, and I think I added it to my Goodreads list years ago. So finally stumbled upon a copy and look forward to giving it a read one of these days. I found a hardback edition of Cujo by Stephen King. The dust jacket is a little bit worse for wear, as you can see, but you know, it was $1 or $2 or something, so couldn't resist. There he is, all beardy on the back, and I joked about this in my reading vlog when I got this, but yeah, it's a signed edition, so that's very exciting. And yeah, I haven't actually read Cujo, so I'm happy to have this, and will no doubt get to reading it one of these days. And last up for that library book sale was this adorable little guy, Gus Was a Friendly Ghost by Jane Thayer. This is another one that, guess what, I'm adding it to my October reading list. But yeah, these illustrations are just so gorgeous, and yeah, this is not a story or a series that I am familiar with, but I couldn't resist. I mean, look at it, it looks cute and spooky, so count me in for that. And I went to one thrift store. I think that's the only time I've been to a thrift store in the past month or so, but I did find a couple of goodies. We've got Wicked Witch and Wicked Curse by Nancy Holder and Debbie Vigaway, and I think there's a third book in the series, but yeah, I guess at least I've got the first two. And this is like, I think, an early 2000s witch series, and yeah, this just sounds really fun I had never heard of it before, but I couldn't resist with these covers. It just looked really cool. So yeah, hopefully I will give these a try one of these days. Just so many books, guys, so many books. Never enough time. It's just the constant struggle, as you know. Yeah, let's see. Oh, 2002. Yeah, I thought so. So anyway, that is that. Okay, the one secondhand bookstore that I went to was a Half Price Books. We just happened to be in the area of one, so obviously we popped in, and yeah, I actually found some really great things. I got a bunch of books, in fact, and the prices did vary a bit, but I think they ended up averaging out to be less than $3 each, so I was happy with that. So first up is Morning Star by Peter Atkins, with this really cool cover. There's like an eye within the eye. Whoa. And yeah, this one I think has some kind of serial killer thing. Maybe it's a vampire thing as well. I'm not sure. I will have to read it to find out, but it sounds good to me. I got Prom Dress by Lael Litke. This was a Scholastic Point title that didn't come out in the Point Horror series in the UK, but it's one I've always been curious about, and I love that cover. And yeah, this copy is in really great shape, and I mean, it's like a haunted prom dress. How can you not want to read that? It sounds brilliant. So I was very happy to find that. And I did get one other, I guess this might be more middle grade rather than young adult, but this is Footsteps on the Stairs by Stella Pevsner. I couldn't resist that spooky cover, and yeah, this is an author I wasn't familiar with, but I just figured I would snap this up and give it a try. I got a copy of The Palace by Chelsea Quinn Yarbrough. This is, I believe, book 2 in her vampire series. I've read the first one, Hotel Transylvania, and really enjoyed it, so I've been looking out for any others in the series, and I don't think you have to read them in order. I think they're pretty much standalone stories because they all take place in kind of a different time and place, because he's a vampire and he's been around for a while. And but yeah, I was just super happy to find this. Love this cover. And weirdly, they had originally got this priced at like $20 or something ridiculous, but then it had been marked down to $3 or something. So yeah, their prices were a bit mad. They seem to have quite a few vintage horror paperbacks overly priced for some weird reason, but I mean, I guess good luck to them. So anyway, I was definitely happy to grab this one. We've got The Others by D.M. Wind. Got this great metallic title there, and I'm not sure what this one is about. Maybe some kind of shape-shifting. Oh yeah, says it right there. Wow, how astute, Alex. And great work on the cover there, getting that point across without spelling it out. Good job. But yeah, couldn't resist that, obviously. It looks fun. I got Voice of the Blood by Jamia Jefferson. I think I mispronounced her name as Jemiah in a previous video, so apologies for that. I believe it is pronounced Jamia. And this is a vampire book, and one that I am looking forward to reading very soon. And I had actually seen this advertised. It's a leisure title. I'd seen it advertised in the back of my copy of This Symbiotic Fascination by Charlie Jacob, which I read recently and have been raving about. And I had not heard of the author or the book, and then just happened to see a copy in Half Price Books, so I was like, I think that is fate, and I am gonna grab that. And this came out in the early 2000s, but like Leisure was still doing, if you can see, the embossed covers at this point, at least for this title. Like, I just thought that was really interesting because you know, I guess the horror boom was kind of over at that point, but they were still rocking it, so props for that. We've got The Owl's Fane Horror by Duffy Stein, which has this brilliant step back art. Sorry about the glare. That's better. There we go. Very cool. Not sure what this one is about. Don't even care. It just looks too good to pass up, so that's why I grabbed it. And yeah, this copy is a little worn, but you know, that's all right. It will find a good home in my library, and I look forward to giving it a read. I mean, I'm already sucked in. A quiet, quaint Vermont village. Count me in, mate. I'm already there. We have The Prophetess by Janet Kidd, although it's not actually by Janet Kidd. That was a pseudonym for a male author, but I'm blanking on his name. Apologies. But couldn't resist this cover. Super cool. We've got this lady and then a lady coming out of her hair. I mean, it's just all going on. And yeah. So this looks like some kind of possession story, which sounds like a good time. I got The Link by Andrew Lawrence, which is the second book in the Blood of Nostradamus trilogy, and I do have the third book, so as you can see they look pretty damn cool together, but I'm missing the first book. So yeah, need to get on that and then I can read them all. I love these cover designs. You really can't go wrong with a skull on the cover, is what I always say. And yeah, I guess hopefully I can find book one at some point and then give them a read because they sound really fun. So, moving on. This is the last one I got from Half Price Books. This is December by Phil Rickman, and this one is a bit of a chunky boy. It's, I think, over 600 pages long, and it's something to do with a band that had recorded an album, and then some spooky stuff happens, and I'm just like, that sounds amazing, I'm already there, and naturally I'm already planning on reading this in December. I mean, it'd be rude not to, quite frankly. So yeah, excited to have this one. Okay, next up are a few more vintage horror paperbacks that I bought from a friend of mine, David. He had a bunch of duplicates that he was getting rid of for really good prices, so I couldn't say no, and I just picked up 5 from him. So yeah, thank you again, David. And first up is Save Joanna by Francine Pascal. Yes, the same person that created the Sweet Valley series. She wrote a novel of exorcism and possession. And yeah, this one does have a bit of damage on the front, but that's fine. But as you can see, it's very mirror-y, and there's like a creepy face on it. And I was just super intrigued by what Francine Pascal would do with such a concept. So yeah, one of these days I will give it a read and find out. And speaking of shiny covers, I actually got another one. This is Limb to Limb by John Russo, who was author of Night of the Living Dead. And yeah, this one sounds really fun, and I think I read that it might actually be set in Pittsburgh, because I think that's where he was from. And yeah, that is really cool, and love that cover. It's hard to get it in a really great light and show it to its full effect, but hopefully you get the idea. And next up is The Stalker by Claude Tueles. I'm not sure, but again, skull on the cover, sold. And this is a zebra title, and sounds like maybe some kind of ancient evil has been unleashed, which is always a good time. I have Neverland by Douglas Clegg, which has this metallic title, and then we've got all these spooky faces going on in the sky here. And this one I think is maybe some kind of coming of age tale, but yeah, it's one that I haven't really heard too much about, but it intrigued me, so I am looking forward to giving that a read. And last up for that little stack is Fear by R. Patrick Gates. I have another of his novels on my shelves. I think it's Tunnel Vision, which I've been meaning to read for a while and haven't yet. So naturally, what do? You buy another by that same author. You know how it is. Anyway, this one has such an awesome cover with all of these blue skulls going on. And yeah, this one is another one I'm looking forward to reading. Okay, the next pile of books is from another library book sale that I went to, and I picked up a few Goosebumps books, and these were like 25 cents each or something ridiculous, so yeah, I nabbed a few. We have Welcome to Dead House, Monster Blood, Say Cheese and Die, The Ghost Next Door, and The Scarecrow Walks at Midnight. So they all look super fun. I'm happy to have them. And I was very excited to find a copy of Battle Royale by Koshin Takami. And I don't know if you can see this, but the dot is a bomb. How cool is that? And this is a book that I've been, wanting to read for years, but just haven't for whatever reason. It is quite a long one. But yeah, so I was very happy to find this, and I think it was only $1, so can't really say no at that price. And I remember seeing the film adaptation of this when it was released at the cinema, so this is going back a little while, but yeah, I remember loving the film, and now I can look forward to finally reading the book. And last up for the library book sale is Undead Girl Gang by Lily Anderson. This is a young adult title that I think only came out within the past few years, and I've heard some good things about it. And yeah, as you can see, this is a former library copy, but it is a nice hardback edition. And yeah, this one just sounds really fun, and it's one I've been curious to read for quite a while, so I was very happy to grab this. This one was only 50 cents. I mean, come on. Bargain. Okay, we're almost there, guys. We've got 3 books left. This is, yeah, a pretty epic haul, I must say. So the last 3 books are actually new books that I bought online. I don't really treat myself to new books too often, so I figured I could allow it. And one of them is The Book Collector by Alice Thompson. And I don't remember how I had initially stumbled upon this one, but I remember adding it to my Goodreads probably a few years ago, but then someone recently commented on one of my videos and put it back on my radar, so I was very happy about that and decided, yeah, why not pick that up now before it drops off my radar again. And this one is described as a gothic nightmare of murder and betrayal, so that sounds great. And next up is Goth by Otsuichi. This is one that, yeah, I've been meaning to pick up for ages and just decided to go ahead and grab myself a copy. I believe this is about a couple of teenage friends who are obsessed with true crime, and I don't know too much more about it other than that, but I'm super excited to give that one a read. And then last up, actually the final book in this very big haul, is Boy Parts by Eliza Clark. This one only came out fairly recently and it really intrigued me. It is about a photographer in London and some messed up stuff that she gets up to. And yeah, I'm going to be reading this one very soon. I'm really looking forward to it, so I will report back. So that is it. We are finally at the end of this mega haul. If you are still here, then thank you for sticking around. I hope you enjoyed seeing all of these books. I'm very excited to have all of them. I've been very lucky both in stumbling upon books in the wild and also, yeah, having some awesome people to send me awesome books, which is very kind and generous and is much appreciated. So do let me know if you have read any of these. No spoilers, of course, but I would love to hear if you've read any, whether you enjoyed them or not. I would be curious to hear your thoughts. And if there are any here that you are curious about and think I should read sooner rather than later, then feel free to let me know. Thank you ever so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and hopefully I will see you again in my next video. Bye!